Welcome to episode 1C, I guess you can call it, of Amateur Hour with Tim, and Carter Gaddis, aka, I guess today he's going by Lindsey Graham.
That's right.
Yeah, welcome to the program, everybody. Thanks for listening. A lot of topics to discuss, but at the top of this episode, I think it's only fair that we talk about big game that's coming on at 7:40 Eastern tonight. Kentucky Wildcats. We are all alum here, and they have a huge game against two seed, right? 2 seed Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky's the 3. We have a huge game. Was it 1-1 split in the regular season? Is that right?
No, 2-0.
2-0 us. 2-0. Yep. All right. So we're going for the sweep here. Three across the board. That'd be great. But
not easy, but it's fun.
Let's keep this in mind. I think the first game, Butler, I think, was out, and Carr was out or severely.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
In the second game, Jackson was out, and Butler was still kind of iffy, but he played. And
Jackson's still out.
Played much. So we're gonna have to introduce him to a healthy Andrew Carr and Lamont. Yeah, I was bummed when Jackson was out for the season, but if you look at our big games, he didn't really show up. I hate to say it, I like the guy, but
he picked it up for tonight. Games there. Yeah, it's where is this game? I don't even know.
It is in Indianapolis, actually.
That's good for us.
Yeah,
I would say. I mean,
Tennessee's
closer.
Tennessee's not far away either. It'll probably be fairly Big Blue travels. They'll have it'll be the edge towards Kentucky, but as far as the crowd, it'll be fun to watch. Though I can't wait. Kentucky look good. They look good. It'll be fun to watch.
They look good.
I stayed up watching the Cal implosion last night.
Oh yeah.
I didn't see that till this morning. I wasn't.
It was the biggest. I think it was the biggest comeback in Sweet 16 history. I think I read.
Yep. And then it had the classic Cal. They, of course, did not foul at the end of regulation and gave him a 3 to tie it. Then they went into OT, and then it was kind of back and forth. And then Wagner had the ball with 9 seconds left. And guess what Cal didn't do?
Call a timeout.
Didn't call a timeout. And DJ Wagner did his and then fade away from
That's yeah. I've seen that.
I was wondering why they didn't call timeout, but I guess Cal never does.
That's Cal. He even said it after the game. He was like, I'll always let the guys play that out. That's just my style. We're we know.
I did bet Calipari against Pitino and last night and hit. So they were plus 5.5, I think.
Yeah, I was shocked. Pitino didn't
win that game. Yeah, I was too. St. John's had a good year. Did you see Patino's son got the job at Xavier?
Xavier, yep. That'll be a great job for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wonder how long he stays before he goes.
Oh, well, I'll just be dimly lit, I guess.
Depends on how he goes or how he does.
Well,
anyway, Carter, you want to go on a rant about Lindsey Graham and see what that's all about, or you want to start? You don't want to talk about?
We don't have a whole lot of news this week, but one that's super annoying, and maybe we can decipher this, but Trump's been just coming out talking about how much he loves Lindsey Graham, and I can't figure it out. Lindsey Graham loves wars and loves everything that we don't like, and I think he likes men, which is fine. I mean, go ahead, but so I don't know. I mean, what do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about Trump cozying up to the guy that kind of, I don't know, did he kind of backstab him in his first administration a little bit, or?
I mean, I've never been able to really figure out that relationship either. It seems like, Lindsey Graham was best friends with Zelensky too for the longest time. And then he did come out and say after that White House meeting a few weeks ago, talking about how, Zelensky was out of line and everything, which obviously was the case. But I think I can't figure out that relationship either. I have no idea. I don't know why he seems to cater to him. But
I mean, I don't have too much of an opinion on it, but if you look at everything, it's like this deep state stuff's real, clearly. It's not really a partisan thing, even though they pretty much overtaken the modern Democratic Party. Having said that, it's like, is Trump doing a deal with Lindsey Graham to get him out of that? You see what I'm saying? Because there's still some moles on the GOP side, so we don't know what's going on below.
There's some conspiracies that he's maybe
could just be a turncoat. He might be really coming to our side now. He's just
he may have something on Lindsey and he's holding it over his head and trying to get some information or get something.
Yeah,
because you know who Lindsey Graham does love is Israel, which I know we all, that holds a special place in any Christian's heart. But we also know that the deep state of Israel is also as dangerous, if not infinitely more dangerous than our deep state. Or maybe it's the same people. We don't really know.
I think it's all the same thing, but yes, correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, I don't know. Did y'all hear any of one thing we didn't talk about before this, but they had a kind of like a little town hall meeting with Elon and some of his Doge guys.
The Doge group
thing, but I don't know if y'all saw Elon actually. I mean, I'm sure it was pretty rehearsed, but he gave some pretty solid comments on why we need to end the war with Russia and Ukraine. It was pretty good.
What exactly was he saying? I saw a couple highlights of it, mostly regarding Social Security numbers.
The gist of it was that, obviously, Putin is Putin. It's like, it's not like he's pro Putin because he wants to end the war. It's the simple fact that you got all these guys grandstanding, like, we love Ukraine. We got to give them, we got to support them. We got to support them. He's like, but every time they say that, more people die. More Ukrainians die. More Ukrainian loses a dad. Someone loses a brother. Someone loses, it's the fact of the matter that when we're just perpetuating this war and sending this money, we're just sending money for more Ukrainians to die. It's the fact.
It's sending them to slaughter.
The war is unwinnable for Ukraine.
Yeah.
We can keep sending money to keep funding this war, but it's unwinnable for them.
That's right.
And obviously we don't want to put our own boots on the ground, which is that would be World War III.
Yeah.
So
the only way they could win, and like you said, then
you have China involved and everything else, and it's a World War III. So the only way to do is to create a deal between Zelensky and Putin and end this war. So we stop funding it and the violence stops. That's the only option. We can keep sending money all day, and we're just wasting money and wasting lives. And that's all there is to it.
I agree. And it's and I think we talked about this on our first version of our podcast that we'll release one day when we've got millions of viewers and it's going to come from our archives. But like, we kind of started this war, so people don't want to.
NATO moving east, right? I mean, we wouldn't want Russian tanks and rockets in Canada.
No.
Well, there was one piece of good information. Didn't Trump help broker a peace deal in the Black Sea between Russia and Ukraine?
Oh, I didn't
recently
see that, but that's huge if you did.
They did sign some kind of, just a couple days ago. Yeah, okay. Didn't make barely any of the media, of course, because they can't have that.
They just want to talk about the signal breach, which is another thing we got to discuss too. What do y'all think about that? I mean, I have read it, and it didn't seem. I mean, let's be honest though, if Biden did it, and
you'd never hear a word about it,
we would be infuriated about it. So I mean, I get the anger, I get why they're mad about it, and it sucks. And I think what was it? Was it Ratcliffe or was it Mike Waltz?
Yep,
took the blame. So for once, not like I feel like the Democrats never hold each other accountable, and no one says, "Whoops, my bad." Like, so there is some accountability on our side. But I read it, and Mahoney, you said it earlier, like they didn't specifically name any terrorists. They didn't name any locations.
There's no classified documents leaked. None.
Which they are screaming on the mainstream media, classified, da da da.
Yeah.
From what I've seen on X, I don't watch mainstream media, but that's my understanding.
And aside from all the gaslighting that they do, the things that really infuriate me when the media just runs with this crap, it's like, okay, what happened was, I'll legitimately say it, it's unacceptable. Like, they have to figure out what happened, and it looks like they are. Maybe the guy somehow got into the conversation and wasn't supposed to, and maybe there's something nefarious going on there. We'll figure it out. But seeing how upset they got over this, let's just think about what actually happened. We attacked terrorists successfully and got rid of some really bad people, and nobody died.
Nobody died.
That's
and they
pretty awesome.
On our side, did anybody die on their side? I don't know much about it.
I mean, we took out some pretty high level terrorists in Yemen. I mean,
people died, just not on.
Yeah, exactly. So I wish.
When you think
I was just to say, I wish the media was this upset when, let's say, when the Afghanistan withdrawal was botched and 13 Americans died and thousands of our allies in Afghanistan were left and beheaded by Taliban. I mean,
four Americans died in Benghazi. You didn't hear about a thing there. You didn't hear about it. The Hillary emails is another thing that they dismiss, all full of classified documents, or that the Secretary of Defense Austin, who was basically incapacitated for a week, and we didn't hear anything about that. There was no that was for 4 years, but you don't hear any outrage about that.
Billions of dollars in military equipment we just abandoned.
The Afghans
arming our enemies. That's nuts to me.
They were that guy Tyler Vargas, the guy that lost his leg and his arm. I mean, he gives some pretty detailed information too in some of his testimony and some of the podcasts that he's been on. I mean, dude's amazing. But like, when we pulled out, the Taliban was there executing every Afghanistan non-Taliban person that they found. I mean, right in front of them. While this was going on, they were executing our allies that trusted us for over 20 years while we were there. It's pretty shitty. And
very, very shitty.
We don't see any outrage on that. None. Zero. Zilch.
Well, the billions of dollars we sent, and I don't know, you all might be able to confirm a little better, but the billions of dollars we've sent, hasn't Zelensky said he's seen about half of it?
Yeah.
There's a couple $100 billion that are missing.
And a lot of this equipment that they used to buy it or that we shipped over there is being sold to other countries. I mean, what are we talking about? We're going to give more money?
Yep. They're reselling it on the black market, and there's all kinds of stuff going on.
It's a total mess. The fact that we still have to talk about Ukraine after just those simple data points is like, what?
Why are we still talking about this? Exactly.
Why are we talking about this? Like, it's nuts.
Couple $100 billion are missing, and we're funding a war that cannot be won, and people are dying every single day. What I don't understand I don't even understand their argument.
The fact that people cannot wake up to the media programming is just beyond me. And the fact that even you take these issues aside, because it can create, they tug at people's emotional strings and they get outraged, and then they just can't logically think about stuff. But if you take that aside and you look at how they've demonized Elon. Look how they're doing all this Tesla sabotaging, putting people in harm's way. I think they found bombs at parking lots. Like, think about that. How can liberals not think, okay, they thought this guy was unbelievable.
Oh, he was a god 4 years ago.
The green car man. Oh my gosh. The Tesla. Oh my gosh. Now they're fire selling them, and I don't want your Tesla.
Well, they're burning lithium on fire. You know how bad that is for the environment?
It's terrible. Yeah, I didn't think about that. But
how about this congresswoman down in Texas, Jasmine Crockett, literally endorsing violence on Tesla dealerships? I mean, and she gets away. She referred to Abbott as Hot Wheels. Imagine if a conservative did that. Like, and then didn't even take the opportunity to, backtrack on it when
She
they
doubled
asked her
down,
about it.
didn't she?
She doubled down. So how imagine what would happen if where's the outrage there? I don't the, the double standard in American media is for the left and the right is just mind-boggling.
It's unbelievable. And the fact that they just Elon, how they can't just, which I don't even care for the guy that much, but like I like what he's doing with Doge. I hate green energy, so I don't really like Teslas. Sorry, Tesla owners, they're cool, whatever. But he also wants to put brain chips in everybody's brains and whatever else. So I don't really
we have Teslas, but then we're shooting rockets up into the sky. Like,
yeah,
burn, Like,
but the fact that they all hate him now and they can't go, wait a minute, maybe the news is infiltrating my mind. Maybe there is an actual woke mind virus that I'm a part of, and maybe people need to wake the fuck up and stop. I don't know.
1,000%. 1,000%. Journalism in this country, though, is just for whatever reason pulls left-leaning people, and all the colleges and universities are all left-leaning woke, and that's what gets into that industry, and that needs to change. There needs to be more 50-50 as far as it really should. The journalism is dead as far as I'm concerned. You should be just given facts and do your own research to, make your own opinion. But that's not what we get nowadays. We get right-wing news, which is about 10%, and then 90% of complete left-wing garbage. And that's why the country is misguided.
It's so bad. It's almost like a live, like, Anchorman or something. I mean,
it really is. It's like
so show. Goofy that they lie constantly. And you're like, how would you believe that still? Why are you still on their side? What is the pattern recognition that I'm missing that you don't have? I'm not trying to be rude. I truly can't figure it out.
Me neither.
The open border is all I needed to see. The open border with people piling in with fentanyl, children are missing, pedophilia is clearly a big deal in elites, Hollywood. That's enough for me. I don't even need to go into all this other stuff, which I have. Yep. But it's like we're constantly like trying to prove but it's like if that's not enough to wake them up, they're not going to. So I don't get it.
Speaking of the pedophilia, man, we still don't have any Epstein files.
Those things are gone.
I never.
I mean, maybe they are. I'm starting to really.
Yeah, I think those things are gone. And
those things are gone.
Well, and there's too many people that are. Who knows? There's so many moving parts and people that are probably implicated. And it's going to hurt Trump, and so politics comes into play. Like, who knows?
I don't know. I mean, when you think about it, if there was any files on there up until January 21st, I mean, they had 2.5 months to realize that Donald Trump is going to get his hands on these things. And at the time they were still in charge. Why not what are you waiting on to get rid of them?
Yeah.
Why would you keep them if there was damaging to powerful people? They had 2 months to get rid of them. 3 months almost.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Pam Bondi has been a big disappointment in my opinion. I hope I'm wrong.
I hope you're wrong too. I felt like I needed to give everybody 6 months.
Yeah.
You don't want to go in there and screw up by trying to just, blow the doors off the whole operation right away.
But I think one thing you have to consider too, though, is the Department of Justice, the FBI, all of these agencies, they're massive, right? And just because Pam Bondi takes over, or just because Hegseth or whoever takes over these, I mean, it is an absolute swamp in its own right. And so she has everyone that she's ahead of. There's so many people that are still within the department that are probably actively working against her.
Yeah, we talked. Same with cash, all that. Yeah,
all that kind of stuff. So they have to sift through all of that still, and weed out the people that are going against her agenda, which is probably not implemented lickety split because they have a large force of people that are still within the department working against her. So I mean, there's probably some truth to that. But yeah, you would like to see you want to see some arrests, right? That's kind of why we voted the way we voted, because we want to see some people held accountable.
Yeah. Without arrest, none of it means much.
Nope.
Yeah.
Speaking of arrests, what do y'all think about all the? It's pretty cool that I know the left is throwing a fit again over this shit, but like we deported all those guys to El Salvador to that prison, all the MS-13 guys, and
how is that? How is that not just being applauded? I don't get it. I mean, first of all, they were all illegal immigrants. They shouldn't have been here in the first place. Second of all, it's pretty clear that the majority of them, if not all of them, were criminal illegal immigrants. Yeah. Why is this even a thing?
Bad people. And to be honest, it is being applauded. It's just not on the.
Yeah, exactly. Why is there? Basically, I think the better way to put it is, why is anybody given any push? Why is there some judge out there that's saying turn a plane around full of criminals? Bring them back.
Kids are getting paid by some NGO out of. I mean, it's just all such a mess.
Did y'all see that the White House posted a video of them extraditing some of them, and it was to the song Closing Time, and it was like,
yeah, I did see that.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yeah,
I loved it. I mean, I'll say this though, because this is why we get together and we like that. This is what I think the vibe that we're trying to accomplish when we get in here and talk to each other. We're also critical of our own party. Like everyone sees the left criticizing the right and the right criticizing the left, but I have to criticize the right in this as well. So I saw last night, and I don't know if you guys have seen it, but one thing that drives me crazy is like they took Kristi Noem down there, which I get it. It's part of her job. Like this is what she's overseeing, but like she gets there in her like camo hat, like her hair's like all done up, and she's sitting in front of a prison cell with like 70 of these dudes in there. And she's like giving this speech, don't come to our country. And like that, I get it. Like we all are like, oh, okay, whatever. But like the left hates that. And it's like, if we want them to agree with our policies, our messaging has to be better. It's like we can't.
I would like to just throw partisan politics away.
But why do they keep doing that? Why do they keep throwing her and doing that? It's just weird. It's just like
it's like, weird. It's not
like a couple weeks ago when she had on the vest and whatnot.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, I know.
It's like, I mean, I get why that annoys them, and it kind of forces the real root issue that we are trying to solve here, which are bad people being here. I mean, Venom, you posted, so there's something big bust in Kentucky. I think, was it Louisville? Where
81 people were arrested by ICE, I believe.
In Louisville. I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I mean, there's some really, really good stuff going on, but then we do dumb shit like parade her around like a Barbie doll and do these stupid
that's
videos.
Just so stupid. That's similar to what they did with Zelensky. That's similar. Also, we did it with the Epstein file when they came out with the binder.
Oh, that was the worst one. That was the worst one.
It's the same,
It's AOC crying in front of the cages or whatever, I get it. I mean,
but they don't need to do that stuff to get their base on board with what they're doing. We're on board with it.
We're on board. Yep.
Yeah.
Like their messaging, as much as we criticize, like, my daddy, I love him to death. He's a boomer. He's hilarious. Big, crazy righty like me. But he calls me every day. He's like, the Democrats, they have to evolve. They've got to do something. I can't understand why they do this and that. And I'm like, I get it. But at the same time, we're also, I feel like, failing on messaging on a lot of things.
Yeah.
We're almost headed down the same spiral that they are, it seems like, at some point.
I see that. That Epstein file really opened my eyes. I was like, shit, am I wrong? I've posted a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
It was just so petty with the
that was
with the Epstein thing. It just
and then it turned out to be absolutely nothing. Like I don't understand. That was really the dumbest thing of all, if you ask me, because it
did make us look bad. Everyone that's been like, we can't wait for them to do this, and then that's how
there was zero, and then there was literally nothing in there. Yeah, I don't get the. Like, okay, people are gonna be excited for about 4 hours, and then when they finally open it up and realize there was nothing in there, we're gonna look like idiots. I don't get it.
I have to just educate some people though, and I know you guys know where I'm going with this, but just like the JFK files, you know, they're protecting. There's a lot of Mossad Israeli intelligence all over Epstein, all over the JFK files. And every time we see some of this weird, like, delay in intelligence release or redactions that they promised they wouldn't, it all leads back to Mossad almost every time.
Yeah.
It makes me sick. I just don't understand it. And then I have people, friends of mine, they message me all the time on Instagram anytime I post something. And you know, they basically call me an anti-Semite. And I say the same thing every time. I'm like, hey, man, I'm an American and I hate our American deep state. I don't hate Americans. I hate the deep state. I don't hate Israel. I don't hate any country. I just don't. I'm a Christian. I'm taught to love everyone. And, you know, that's the way we're supposed to be. But I hate nefarious people that are involved with the deep state. So I hate the Mossad. I hate American deep state. And it doesn't mean I'm an anti-Semite. It just means I don't like people that are going around trafficking kids, that are going around trafficking fentanyl, that are going around doing shit that weakens America. I don't like it. And
I mean, that was well said, and that message needs to be, because they feed on emotion, like you said earlier. That's what they do.
Tugging at the string.
Pull on the heartstring. You make people upset so that we fight amongst each other, and it's nuts. And it's both sides, and that's what's scary. So I just feel like we're on the side of lesser of two evils. Not that I think Trump's evil. I still have hope, but there's still going to be some shit going on underneath the hood. So it's impossible.
It's a swamp. There's no doubt about it.
It's impossible to navigate it the way that we would all like to see and live in harmony and all that stuff. It's going to be years if that ever does happen. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's on the horizon. Is there anything going on like in the near future? I mean, this weekend, is there
anything big that everyone is expecting?
Yeah. I don't even know.
I don't know.
We've been all focused on basketball, but you know, we've been taking a break from the politics a little bit.
What about the Elise Stefanik thing? What happened there?
I don't know. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there either.
He pulled her nomination.
Yeah. I didn't read an article. I did see an article where she sort of, I guess, tried to explain why, but I didn't look into it. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I'm not sure what happened there. I guess the path was getting narrower for her confirmation, and Trump didn't want to take any risks, but I don't really understand that either. But that was interesting. But as far as something big coming down in the next week, I don't know what that would be.
Yeah, I don't know.
Be interested to see how long the signal thing takes.
There's gonna be some deep state false flag. Something's gonna. I can just feel it, and I don't know what it's gonna be, but I don't like it.
I don't know anything about it, but I did see today something with Candace Owens talking about a potential attack on the grid.
I mean, that's been
talked about for years.
It seemed more imminent the way that it was out there on her, but I didn't read it, so I'm just throwing it out there. But
yeah, no, I mean that
would suck.
That's gonna, I don't think. I would assume if and when they're gonna do that, it's gonna be when, think about it. They did that right now. Well, I don't know what it's like down in Florida or out in Cali. Tim, you don't ever have terrible weather, but I would think they're going to wait till it's like super hot outside or super cold outside. And people.
I was about to say that it would probably be the dead of winter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or it could be when it's really hot. I don't know. It could be a bunch of different things, but I think that is something that is so easy for our enemies to attack. It is very vulnerable. All of our infrastructure is super outdated. And I mean, they have these little mini EMP things that they can do. I mean, they can literally go you see all those big, anytime you're driving around and you see those big electrical stations where they have all the power grid kind of stacked together and going out. I mean, dude, they can come in with a little suitcase, throw it in there and just and it won't even really be an explosion. It's like a shockwave and it just kills everything. And the backlog on getting new transformers in and shit like that, it is so ridiculous. I mean, we would be in really
What
bad.
is that? Like an electrical vibration? I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's these electromagnetic pulse bombs that just break everything electronic in its range.
Would we physically feel it at all?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
That's so messed up.
There's been talk about that happening, which seems like it could, no doubt about it. But that has been a concern. I feel like people have said that there's going to be attack on that grid for years and years, and it probably will happen at some point. But
so, how many grids are there? Texas has their own grid, right?
Yeah, ERCOT, and then there's MISO, which is like kind of Midwest and kind of some of the East area, and then PJM's the big East one, and then there's a couple out West as well. I don't know as much about, but yeah, I mean, there's some real risk to that. There's a documentary. I think you can just stream it directly off their website that Dennis Quaid narrated, and it's like an hour long. It's super informative, and like for anyone that like wants to know like anything about anything in regards to this risk, which I mean you should. It's called Grid Down, Power Up, and it's
I saw that. I don't know if I finished it, but it was good.
Yeah,
I think it did. Yeah.
Scary. I mean, a lot of our infrastructure is made in China. Like I think Vegas has like 80% of their transformers, and out west, Tim, where you're at, like in Cali, it's like 70% plus are all like
that
made.
sounds about right.
So, I mean, they could have like malware and shit in that. I mean, they could have anything in there just waiting.
Scary possibilities. I think the weekend, in the next few days, like the past couple weeks, the media is going to be hammering home the stock market.
Yep. Which pretty shitty. It's been bad.
It did go down at 700 points today too. Dow did, but
I'm sitting in mostly like treasury bills.
Smart.
I'm
trading a couple degenerate stocks that I trade.
I'm going to fade it in, or however you say that, over the next couple.
Ultimately,
years.
It's healthy though. The stock market needed to go down. It's healthy.
Yeah, we've had rampant inflation.
Yeah.
It's nuts. I mean, nothing's affordable. Housing, cars, all this. It has to have
absolutely.
A correction.
It has to happen. There needs to be a correction. Trump can't say it out loud because there's too many people that would freak out.
He said like 2 weeks ago. He said they asked him, "Why do you think the stock market's going down?" And he said it's the deep state. He said that in the Oval Office.
Really?
Yep.
Well, I mean, ultimately, it needs to happen. I mean, there needs to be a correction, and a recession right now is not a bad thing.
No, I feel bad for people. Like, sadly, we're at the age where that kind of stuff matters. We have assets. Our parents have assets. But if you're in college, right out of college, it's kind of a shitstorm.
I feel like our generation, we got screwed pretty good. Like our parents' generation, they had it so good. Mm-hmm. Think about when they were our age, like the 80s and 90s. I mean, we were just rocking. Like they could just easy, man. Yeah. I don't care what they say. They can be like, "Oh, my interest rates when I bought my first house was 12%." I was like, "Yeah, well, it's like $40,000.
Cost $100,000. Yeah. Cost
$100,000.
I was like, we've been through hell and back, and we just keep, luckily our generation, I feel like we were raised pretty well to be, to deal with it and not cry about it and just figure it out. But like, man,
well, the generation coming behind us, it's even worse when you think about trying to buy a house. Can you imagine getting out of college, trying to find some job, making $100,000 a year, which once upon a time was a pretty good thing?
Oh, I remember when I was I can't wait.
Oh, then, I mean, especially out California, Texas and Florida, same way still. I mean, it's what are you going to buy? How do you afford a house if you're making $75,000 a year? How do you do that? $100,000 a year. How do you do it?
You don't, especially with the expenses on everything else.
Oh gosh.
So
the one fortunate thing I did was when I moved to Tennessee 10 years ago, I built a house here for pretty cheap considering now what it is. And I got 2% loan and I'm just sitting on that. Everybody's
never
like,
getting rid of it.
You haven't moved. I'm like, I'm not moving. My mortgage is $1,800 a month. I'm not moving.
Yep. Not moving.
So, I mean, I feel for the younger generation. I really do. And they're not built like us either. So that's even worse.
And that's by design. That's not their fault, really.
No.
I mean, they have their own choices. Us three are lucky within our generation, though, because we went to the Harvard of the Midwest.
Yep.
We did, baby.
Go Big Blue, man.
Now it's $50,000 a year for out of state.
Is it really?
What is it for
48.
alumni? What is it for alumni? Kids of alumni?
Even alumni. I have a friend of ours here in town. Her and her husband went there, and her husband, I think, went to medical school there. And their daughter, it was $47,000.
Are you kidding me?
She ended up going to Ole Miss.
UK is $47,000 for out of state.
Yep.
Is that with or without room and board?
I think that is with, maybe, but still, it's crazy. I mean, that's why
$50,000 a year to go to UK, huh?
My 9-year-old son.
It was a good time.
My 9-year-old son's a Tennessee fan, which hurts my soul. But when I heard out of state was $47,000 at UK, I was like, all right, you can be a Tennessee fan.
What's UT for in state for you?
I think it's like 20, maybe less.
What was Kentucky when we went there? I don't know.
Like 12. Maybe.
Dude, out of state for me was like almost 20, I think, because I came from Ohio.
Yeah, I feel like mine was like 10 or 12.
I didn't know it was that high. Huh. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's just amazing. 47.
I don't know, guys. I feel like because when we were sitting here, we were like, we couldn't record because I was on spring break and we kind of cross schedule some, but like we go in these lulls of news and it's like I just get nervous when I don't know, I just feel weird. I feel like there's something bad about it.
Feels a little frothy.
Feels like there's, all we've heard about is the Signal thing, Tesla dealerships, Elon Doge. Like, I don't know. It's just been the last week has been eerily quiet. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Well,
time will tell.
Time will tell.
Yep.
At least we have a platform now to hopefully I can get this thing up and running.
Yeah, buddy. I can't
get it launched.
Get it launched. Get it going.
I can't wait.
Well, boys, it seems like a good spot to call it a night and get ready for this Cats game. Try to put all the concerns of grids being shut down and the stock market and everything else on hold for
a couple
2 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
And
be like old times.
Yeah, exactly.
Tim,
Man, I'll tell you what. I'm scared to death of Alabama. If we end up winning and having to face them eventually, them boys are playing some ball.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what about Duke?
Mm-hmm.
Duke is. I mean, did you watch Cooper Flagg is legit, man. He played good last night.
Played good.
Yeah.
We handled them pretty well though in the beginning of the season, but who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different team now, just like we are.
Well, they're all good now.
So they're all good now. Yeah.
The good news with Kentucky is we have hope because we can shoot.
That's true.
Man,
we get old Ray up in there just draining. When he gets going, it's so awesome.
He's so smooth.
He
just
is.
buckets. But all right, well, I'll text you guys later during the game.
All right, boys. Go Cats.
Go Cats. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
Later, guys. Bye.